Hi everybody, welcome back to Sip City. So last time we started building this new stadium area. We wanted to have like a bit of residential in there, a bit of shopping in there, but mainly a stadium so that everybody from Sip City could come over and enjoy the sweet, soothing sound of Bon Jovi and anyone else who decided to visit the city or whatever. It was kind of hard to actually plan it out and do it live with the live commentary last time. So what I did was after I wrapped up the last episode, I went in, recorded myself doing it, and you can now see Bon Jovi Way be transformed into something at least somewhat presentable and a little bit better than what you can see on the screen now. So enjoy the time lapse, and I'll join you after for some live commentary. So the original idea for Bon Jovi Way was somewhat inspired by places kind of like Wembley Park, you know, where Wembley Stadium is in the UK. Also, I think that they tend to do this sort of stuff in America now, where they have kind of a little bit out of the city center, but not too far out of the city center, and that has connections with, mass transportation within the city and stuff out to these places. But generally what they are is the stadium is sort of like the centerpiece and kind of like the destination for people going out there. But while they're out there, there's like restaurants, there's stores. Like, I mean, I think like in Wembley Park, for instance, there's like a big IKEA nearby, and there's a couple of like other like designer outlets and whatever out there. So very much the idea for Bon Jovi Way in Sip City. We wanted to have this nice sort of entrance that led up to the stadium, but then along the way, we wanted to have sort of some stores, so a couple of commercial premises, and then I was kind of keen on having almost like like a mini estate or something that had a couple of apartment blocks there too. Originally, the idea was for the apartment blocks to stay sort of like level 1 if possible, because we kind of need like level 1 living in the city so that people can fill these jobs that are they're considered non-educated jobs. It's the way that the game works, okay? Anyway, I wanted to make sure that I got enough sort of uneducated people into the city so that they could fill those jobs, and the idea was to sort of have this area serve somewhat in supplying those people to the city. But it doesn't quite work out that way, because the minute you start putting down parks and other beautifications in the area, they quickly upgrade, and then all of the educated white-collared bastards start moving in, and then you still have those job vacancies across the city. But I guess we'll just have to live with that for now. So anyway, lots of terraforming. I terraformed the whole area sort of around the river and stuff to make a nice flat space to sort of sprawl everything out. And then once I was done sort of putting everything down, laying it out the way that I wanted to lay it out, I downloaded a whole bunch of extra landmarks. And most of these landmarks that I downloaded from the workshop were like these big box stores. You get these a lot in America too, right? They have like these huge outdoor parking spaces and these, like Walmart's like that. Walmart is like the ultimate huge big box store, isn't it? You drive by it on the highway and you can just see this gigantic store with like thousands and thousands of parking spaces out front and stuff. And I tend not to really like that, but for the sort of like bird's eye aesthetic of this area, it kind of worked out, and I felt that it made it look a little bit more realistic and stuff. And certainly like a place like Wembley Park, if you look at a bird's eye of that, you can see that there's obviously tons of parking spaces, because it's this huge area that's meant to sort of cater for thousands and thousands of people at a time. So Bon Jovi Way was meant to be like that as well, and I think we kind of achieved that. So once Bon Jovi Way was done, it was time to create a new neighborhood. We need more people in the city overall. We need to get to at least a population of 70,000 before we can unlock the airport. I'm not playing in any other mode other than just the normal game mode. So we still need population. We still need to unlock stuff. We still need money. We still need the city to work. So, expanding out and creating new neighborhoods and stuff is important. So we decided to go for a new neighborhood, a modern neighborhood, not something that's going to be part of like Old Town or with the European theme or whatever. We just made a new neighborhood that's kind of across the highway from the burbs. And we wanted to make sure that was something that you would see, I guess, in any sort of like modern city, like that sprawls out into like these suburbs, and the suburbs are somewhat self-sufficient. They have stores out there. They've got like a kind of like a central shopping area for the residents of that suburb to go to, and then really good links back into the city center if they need to get there for like work or whatever else. We kind of followed the same sort of design pattern as we did for the revamped version of Duburbs, which was pretty good. And of course, we made sure that we added a whole bunch of fields and greenery and stuff just to sort of make it look nice. And then sort of going forward, expanding out this new residential area, we want to go for I don't know, some even crazier designs. Lots of like circles and things leading up. I want to make sure that, if we're going to hit some of these population milestones, we need to start thinking about high density residential, which means lots of apartment blocks and stuff. But I don't want to just have a concentrated grid of just apartment blocks. I want these apartment blocks to be spread out throughout the city in like little sort of like estates, kind of like how they are in the UK and in some places in Canada too. I know like in Ottawa, where I grew up, you've got like the city center, which it's known as Centerville in Ottawa. Anyway, there's lots of high rises and stuff downtown, obviously. But as you go out further out into the suburbs and stuff, you sort of happen across these, random sort of tower blocks where there'll be like, 3 or 4 of these things, and they're all part of the same complex. But then they'll be surrounded by houses and stores and other stuff. And I really like that look, and I really wanted to go for that sort of thing. So lots of like sporadic tower blocks here and there on like estates, but lots of just sort of like low density housing surrounding all that stuff too. And there we go. Sip City continues to get bigger and bigger. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that this exists up here as well. Look at this gigantic river of doo-doo. Look, it goes into like this lake of doo-doo and then off here into like the great wide open. I don't know, actually, is that another river that, well, look, the doo-doo is actually coming back around the bay and threatening everything. It's never going to come upriver, though, right? I mean, the current of this river is really just dumping out into the... Actually, having said that, that looks like a waterfall, and I don't think cargo ships are going to really appreciate having to go off like a massive stunt jump waterfall to get out into the open sea. So I don't know if that's going to like dampen our chances of getting like a cargo yard or whatever. But there you go. So it's really coming along, isn't it? Sip City is getting quite big. Man, I could just stare at this bird's eye like all day long. I am really, really happy with what has been achieved here so far. It's really good. We have a current population of 30,000. Seems impossible, doesn't it? It feels like the population should be much, much higher, but it's not. And like I was saying in the time lapse, we're going to be focusing on getting lots of these set up, like the high density residential. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? I really like this sort of high density residential as a contrast to this like lower density stuff. I mean, all of this stuff ends up looking like a prison colony. The reason for that is that all of this stuff inevitably just gets upgraded to level 5. And I think that there's like 1 or 2 buildings for 1x1 level 5 residential. So I need to go hunting to find like some more stuff. This is the new neighborhood. It's simply called Willis. I couldn't think of anything else at the time. We also have a new district up here called Ron Weasley, which is randomly named. Also, just some houses and stuff with some nice little connections over the highway into Willis, back down into this like office block, and then into like the RS Lake residences and connections into the industrial area and whatnot. Bon Jovi Way is looking pretty good. A lot better than when I attempted to do it with live commentary. Look at some of these buildings that I downloaded. These are great. Look, we got a German movie theater, Zoopalast. Look, it even has like some sun chairs and stuff outside so that when you're done watching Star Wars, or in Germany, I guess it's called like Stars and Warzen or something. I don't know, but maybe it is. You can just like come out here and chill out and have a mojito like on your sun chair. Because why the shit not? Look, it's definitely The Force Awakens showing at Zoopalast. Anyway, we got these like nice palm tree things because, you know, you always see palm trees in and around these things. Look at this one. This is pretty sweet too. The Walker and Hayes Mall. I don't know if you live where this exists, but looks pretty nice. I like it. I think that like if you look at the bird's eye, look at that. You can see like all these like big box stores. I really like that. This is like a Home Depot, but I think it's like a Dutch Home Depot. OBI DIY Market. I don't know. I guess like Home Depot, and then in the UK it's B&Q, and then in I don't know, Holland or Germany it's OBI DIY. That sounds pretty catchy. We also have the Real Supermarket, which is maybe not the best supermarket, but I actually think that that is an actual name, like a brand name and a type of supermarket. We have the Media Markt, which is I think German or maybe Dutch. I'm not sure, but anyway, I think that's like some sort of like, I guess it's like Radio Shack or like Best Buy or something like that. And what else? Oh yes, last but certainly not least, my friends, we have our very own Canadian Tire. I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually used to work at a Canadian Tire when I was in high school. I worked part-time at a Canadian Tire, and I had to manually unload trucks of goods every single goddamn day, and it was pretty hard work actually, but I'm glad I don't work there now. And of course, also Saturn, which is a LCD, plasma, TV, DVD, video, hi-fi, computer, photo, CD store. So maybe that's a bit more like Best Buy. I'm not sure. But we have these tower blocks, which I said that we were going to put in. We got lots of parking spaces, and it looks like people are actually parking in these spaces. Pretty good. And then the train station that leads into here. There's a metro station, I think, that leads into here. A lot of the yeah, there is. Okay, it's not really well done actually. The metro is like kind of embarrassing. Look at that. it's all sort of temporary. Actually, most of the mass transpo in the city right now is pretty temporary. I need to go back through and really plan it out, but I was gonna sort of do that after. For now, it's working. Look, we have lots of people using the buses, using the metro. Not so much the train, but the train really is only an outside link into the city. And then taxis. Taxis could really do with some work as well. But like I said, well, and trams as well. There's not that many people using trams. But like I said, it's just to sort of reduce the traffic for now, and seems to be somewhat working, but could probably use some better planning. Great. So that's what I've been up to. I mean, Willis, I've sort of expanded out into this idea of having like high density. So these are all going to be high density residences here, with like some parks and stuff. I really like this idea that, you know, this is just like a great big housing estate with high rises, lots of parks. We'll put like some trees and some extra bits and pieces in here. Actually, we can maybe do that today. You can just beautify this area a little bit, make it a little bit more sort of, make it better. We're going to make it more appealing to drug dealers, basically. We're going to put lots of trees and stuff in here so all the drug dealers can move their butts off of these commercial corners. Like, this isn't even really properly a corner shop. It's not at all a corner shop. This is some sort of like M&H clothing. Okay, I thought it was going to be burgers or something. But anyway, we don't want them hanging out here. We want them to get into the projects here. And we want them to hang out on these paths so that people know that if you want drugs, take the paths. If you don't want drugs, stick to the sidewalks, right? That's usually like a general sort of rule of thumb. All right, we're going to need to set up a whole bunch of stuff for these clowns as well, including we need definitely trees. I don't know if we need any like low density housing, actually. I think we're pretty good with what's here right now. We have like some like a spattering of high density, which seems to work. Actually, maybe this stuff could be like a bit bigger. Like maybe we want some real rip-roaring high-rises in the middle, and then everything else just sort of comes out from that. We'll just add a couple of more little places as well, like on the corners here. A lot of this isn't actually symmetrical, and I think it's just because of the roads, but I'm not too bothered. Like, I think the bird's eye looks pretty good, but maybe the rest of it doesn't. I don't know. See what you think. But anyway, if you were wondering about mass transportation in the city, there is some in place, but like I said, it's pretty temporary. It's not what it should be, but it'll do for now, like I said. Great. Okay, so we want to go for trees. We don't want the machine gun trees. We definitely want to line like these little outer grid things with trees, okay? And this is so that when you're driving by, it gives the drug dealers a little bit of privacy, right? We don't want them to feel exposed, because if one thing I know is true, drug dealers don't want to be looked at from the road, especially by people, well, I don't know actually. I mean, I say that, but I mean, they're trying to sell a product just like anyone else, right? So maybe they actually appreciate the visibility, you know, especially if somebody who's never bought from them before is driving by and they say, whoa, look at that guy's rainbow colored pimp coat. I mean, he looks like the kind of guy who's going to be able to sell me some really good crack. Maybe I should track him down and see. But, you know, you might get up to him and he might sort of smile at you and he's got like just an absolute mouth full of golden teeth, and then you sort of run away crying because you've never seen a man have so many golden teeth before. I know a lot of people have been petitioning me on like Reddit and stuff, which is nice, and there's tons of RP going on as well, which I gotta say is nice. Some of it is absolutely hilarious too. If you like reading good RP, you should check some of the City Skylines threads on the /r/SIP subreddit right now. It's pretty good. But I think we're going to try to tidy it up and keep them all in one thread, because there's just like millions and millions of threads with different petitions and stuff. But there's a really good one that sort of sticks out for this kind of thing. You know, we wanted a project and we wanted a safe place for drug dealers to conduct their business. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make this really enjoyable area for the drug dealers to sort of peddle their wares in some sort of like open air drug market, because I don't think we have any of those right now in Sip City right now. And I've always wanted to create a city that was heavy on those, much like Baltimore is in the US of A. We're going to need some like nice props and stuff here too, right? We're going to need lots of these little sandboxes so that we can drop the kids off. Because when you like come into the Willis projects and you want to like buy some crack, you might have your kids with you and you might not want them to get in the way. So we're going to sort of strategically place lots of little sandboxes all around the place so that you can drop your kids off. And if you feel like also indulging in a bit of fun with your kids while you're on crack, why don't you have a go on one of these spinning wheels? Or even better, how about you have a go on a slide complex? Like, look at this thing, it's huge. And the thing is, if this neighborhood does get tidied up one day, well, the nice people that move in here that don't do crack will have a whole bunch of stuff to do as well, including having fun as a family on a seesaw, because that's always really good fun. And what else can they do? What's this thing? This is a high-level slide complex. So this is going to be like the Rolls-Royce of slides over on this side. So the east side immediately is being favored over the west side, which is nothing to do with rap or anything like that. It's just the way that it's happened. I mean, we could give the west side a high-level slide complex as well, but then I think that would tip the balance. How about we give the west side a high-level seesaw so that the east side will have to come over here and use that, okay? And then vice versa, if the west side want to use a superior slide, they'll have to travel over to the east side. Do we want to like bridge this gap as well? I think we do, actually. I think we want the east and the west to cooperate if possible. So let's give them a nice link in here. And if anybody feels like they still want to sit on the fence, quite literally, we'll give them a picnic table? No, let's give them some benches to sit on. Okay, this is always a good one too. Right, we need a couple of park benches here so that people can... Oh, shit, I think I put that the wrong way, actually. Did I? Yeah, I did. It's facing the wrong way. Look, it's not even facing the path. That's not a bad thing, though. Like, that's the thing. That's the ultimate in privacy, right? Because if you're just trying to do your crack, you might not want to look at who's coming by. You know, you might just want to be looking the other way. And I think that works. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Let's also set up some of these things, because these are always good too, right? These are like sort of little shelters that if it's raining, you don't want like your crack pipe to get all wet. So you can always just hide in one of those. And we're going to need a lot of these high-level table sets too. Look, we're going to have to dot these all around because we want people to come out here and use them. They can have their lunch out here. They can do some crack out here. They can talk to their friends about marijuana out here if they want to, and all sorts of other drug-related activities. It's going to be really good, actually. And we're also going to supply the Willis Projects with some picnic tables, too, because everybody wants to come out here and have a barbecue in the summer, right? That's, like, definitely a thing. Barbecues are definitely a thing. Look at all this stuff, my God, this place is really coming together, actually. All right, let's get some picnic tables here, too. Let's get some more trees up in here. We need a lot of trees to make it really look the part. Look, some of these places actually come with their own really modern picnic tables, which saves me actually having to plop any down, which is pretty good. Actually, let's make these trees like a little bit more sort of like that. Let's get some into the corner here as well, along the side a little bit. Do we need some more paths leading out of these parts? I think that we actually do. Okay, we'll go for a straight path that leads onto here so that you have that connection and that connection. Oh, that's pretty nice, actually. It really comes together, doesn't it? Look at that. With a couple of trees and stuff, the whole area has just been revitalized. All right, back to park stuff. Actually, do we want like some vending machines too, just in case people like get the munchies while they're out here? Because that's gonna definitely happen. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on out here. Let's get some vending machines installed. And also, why don't we get a fast food stand out here too? Because why the heck not, right? Let's just get like, these people never need to leave the projects now. Look, we're gonna give them everything they need on these corners. So like, they don't need to leave. They can just stay in here, they can have a rip-roaring good time, and they won't need to like go down the street to like any of these stores, like these ones or whatever. They can buy all of their munchies and their hot dogs in here. That'll be pretty good. Let's also have a tourist information kiosk at all the entrances. So it's kind of like the red light district in Amsterdam, right? Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on there all the time. But sometimes you just want some info about the kind of stuff that's allowed and that's not allowed. So let's strategically place these like at all the entrances and staff them with knowledgeable people about the area so that if any tourists do turn up to the Willis Projects, they can be like, what exactly am I allowed to do when I'm in here? And they have like some brochures and stuff all printed out, ready to go. Say like, well, if you like to do this, you might think about visiting number 112 Tower Crescent, where Big D the pimp lives, and he's gonna be able to hook you up with all manner of great stuff, and then you'll just be like, oh shit, okay, let me just write that down. 112 Tower Crescent, and his name was Big D? Okay, great, and he's a pimp, you say. Okay, excellent. Perfect, that's all the information I need. Okay, wonderful. All right, let's continue with the trees here. We're just gonna slowly plop down the trees. You never have to worry with this tree brush either. When you're plopping down these trees, you make a mistake. If you make a happy little mistake, don't worry about it, because you can always just delete them. Look, you can just like increase the size here. You can give it a right click and then boom, the trees are mostly gone. And then just put it back down to the single plop and start over again. See, look it's so much fun, isn't it? It's so therapeutic too. I truly believe that this is actually good for your soul. Just placing these trees and beautifying these areas is a wonderful thing. All right, so the south side now is just absolutely littered with picnic tables and slides and seesaws and stuff. But the actual proper east side and the proper west side here don't have any props. And the north side is completely devoid of props, which we're about to change. This has to definitely change, okay? These people need shelters to partake in their recreational activities as well, so we're gonna give everybody a place to do their thing, which will be good. We also want, maybe if we can get away with it, is that gonna delete that? It did delete it. Can you believe it? It's not the end of the world though, because we could just add it again, but at the same time, I'm pretty angry that that happened, because we're gonna actually have to add it here, but I really wanted that dirt path. So now I think the west side is winning in terms of things looking like really cool and realistic. Probably more so than, although, hang on a second. Looks like the east side has just chimed in with its own really awesome, realistic looking, what would you call that? What is this thing? Does anyone know? Like, what are they called? Does it say here? It's a pavilion. I knew that. That word was literally on the tip of my tongue and I couldn't think of it. But anyway, it's a pavilion. We have a whole bunch of pavilions. I think we're going to have to get some picnic tables in here too. We're going to get some high-level table sets. Okay? We're going to dot them around here so that when it's not raining, this pavilion and this pavilion are going to act as like sort of center points for the east side and the west side of the Willis projects. Man, look at this. It's really good, isn't it? Look, they've got everything here too. Look, state of the art. They've got air conditioning, solar panels. What's that? Like a radio antenna? A TV antenna? Like everything that you could possibly need. Vending machines outside. We're going to have to get some vending machines up here too. We could put it like right outside these pavilions here. Look. There we go. It's just like a gigantic fuck you to Mother Nature. No, we don't want to eat berries out of bushes or anything. No, we want our own vending machines. Look, we're really catering quite well to these people. Okay, we're going to do this too. We're going to have like a thing that sort of leads up into here. That's nice. And we'll do similar sort of thing here. Leads into like the snack and refreshment area. Perfect. I think we could do with like another spattering of trees around here too. Okay, wonderful. Let's do this too. And this and this and that. And let's get a couple of more little trees like in here as well, just to sort of, I don't know. I don't mind like a couple of gaps, but they have to look right. I don't know. I can't really explain that, but you sort of know when it does look right. Like for instance, there, see one tree. It makes all the difference, doesn't it? Wonderful. Oh, look at that. I mean, it's really messy. It looks like, do you know what it honestly looks like? It looks like one of these towers exploded and just furniture came flying out of it at every angle and is now littered all over the ground. But I like it. I think this place has everything it needs now to be that safe haven for drug dealing, pimping, and all of the other stuff that maybe people don't feel too comfortable doing on the strip, because the strip has become heavily commercialized now, right? You know, like there's lots of hotels here. Yeah. There's lots of, well, there's not very many tourist attractions, actually. We should probably think about changing that in the future. But this acts as like an alternative to the strip. Okay. You have a lot of like great living. It's like level 3 living, the Spruce residence. And lots of extracurricular activities taking place in and around this area, which is pretty nice. You know what? This is going to look really great when we have like a lot of sort of low density residential surrounding it. It sort of breaks this neighborhood of Willis all the way out to the train tracks and above and beyond. Great. So future plans, Smellsville, which is a great name for the industrial area, which is currently completely backed up with traffic. We're going to have to sort out the traffic for one, but we're also going to expand it out into this area. I'm not sure where we're going to put the cargo shipping yard. We might put it up here or we might put it up here. I haven't decided yet, but we'll use one of those spots anyway. We'll have a similar looking sort of industrial area to this, except we'll have lots of like inlets and canals and stuff for big cargo containers to come and dock and stuff. And that'll look good. I think the rest of the area will probably be low density residential. I need to unlock some more tiles because look at this. The tiles that I currently have unlocked, I'm threatening to use up all the space actually. I think our next unlock and our next tile comes at 36,000 people, which is fairly soon. So that's at least something. And then I think we need to like really revamp the strip as well. The party zone could do with a little bit more work. The strip could do with a couple of casinos and big hotels, which I'll try to find some landmarks for. So we'll make it a proper strip, proper tourist destination. And then going forward, we'll fill up the Gonzo district and downtown or whatever. We'll continue making Castle Way around this hill and stuff. And then just slowly and gradually expanding out as you do in Sip City and a city this size. But so far, so good. No real huge sort of bottlenecks for traffic. No real sort of problems. And everything is looking pretty nice and good. And I'm very pleased with it. And I hope you're enjoying this. If you do enjoy this, please consider leaving a like. It's always very helpful and always very much appreciated. On the other hand, if you don't like this, feel free to leave a dislike as well. Either one is absolutely fine. Great. As usual, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to be away for a couple of days now, so you might not get another video from me until next week. I got a busy weekend, and also I'm going to Bristol on Monday and Tuesday next week. So you might not get anything new from me until sort of Wednesday or whatever. But there's a ton of stuff on my channel, and if you're having troubles catching up or whatever, go watch some of that stuff. That'd be great. And if not, don't worry about it. I'll be back next week. We'll probably start another series when I'm back next week and have a bit more time as well. I've been playing so much Cities recently, but I've been enjoying the absolute hell out of it. It's been great. So we'll carry on with Cities, but we'll probably look at something. There's a couple of new games out that I actually want to pick up and play. So we'll try to get something else out and maybe just like slam them all out whammy style alongside some more Sip City. Great. All right, well, enjoy your weekend, have fun, stay safe, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time!